Hello everyone and welcome to my latest Skyrim build, the Enchantress. First up, I want to apologise to all of my subscribers that it's been so long between builds. I did make a channel update sort of explaining things, but as it is, Skyrim builds may well end up coming out at a slower rate from now on. For now though, I hope you all end up enjoying this build and all the previous ones I've made. As always, timestamps will be in the description for if you want to skip ahead to any particular section. The main skills for this build are Enchanting, Destruction, Alteration and Conjuration. Enchanting will, of course, be the key skill of this build. This character uses Enchanting to its full effect in order to make themselves insanely powerful. In terms of perks, all you actually need to get are all 5 ranks of Enchanter, Insightful Enchanter, Corpus Enchanter, and Extra Effect. If you so wish, you can go for the Elemental enchantment perks too, however I didn't personally worry about getting them. Destruction magic will be your main offensive go-to skill. Dual casting destruction spells with the impact perk causes enemies to stagger, and you can potentially stagger lock anything you come across. Even giants and dragons can be rendered near harmless with this technique. As for perks, in addition to impact, you want to purchase any that help with your chosen elements. I used both shock and fire magic when I playtested the build, so got augmented shock and flames, in order to boost my damage output. Alteration is the main defensive skill of the build. With it, we raise both our physical and magical defense. Through investing perks into mage armor and magic resistance, we make ourselves significantly harder to kill. Finally, we have Conjuration. This skill is here primarily to summon Atronachs. With Twin Souls and the Master Conjuration spells, you can end up with a couple of elemental thralls following you around, providing supporting fire and a reasonable level of distraction. Additionally, you will of course want to be using Soul Trap in the early to mid game in order to fill soul gems. The additional skills of a build are Illusion, Restoration and Alchemy. Illusion is such a helpful skill. Be it Calm, Fear or Frenzy spells, manipulating the battlefield to your liking is always going to prove useful. Restoration is not only going to be used for healing yourself, but also for dealing with undead and defending against magical attacks. Turn undead spells can be good if you're getting overwhelmed by Draugr, and wards are good for mitigating damage from mages and dragons. As for Alchemy, anyone who's stuck with this channel for long enough knows that I just love the skill. You can make a ton of money fast with it, it can boost literally every single skill in the game, and it's just nice picking up ingredients when you wander about. Don't hate me for putting alchemy in all my builds, I'm so sorry. It just has to go here. As a standing stone for this character, I would recommend the Lord Stone, in order to give you some higher base resistances. When levelling, focus at first on Magicka until you start properly power levelling Enchanting. After that, go all out on health. You won't really need Magicka once you get 0 cost gear. I didn't find myself relying on powers when playing, but Dragon Skin can be helpful against magical attacks before you've mastered wards. As for shouts, simply pick your favourites to complement the build with. This build doesn't wield any weapons, however the armour section is going to be quite intensive, so be prepared for a bit of a Sarge ramble. For this build there are 3 different sets you will switch between. I have named them the Combat, Support and General sets, and each serves a specific purpose. I'm going to give an overview of each clothing set and talk about its purpose, and I'll try and keep things as short as I can so we all keep our sanity. First up, the Combat set. This is comprised of Mourner's Clothes, Falmor Boots and Gloves, a Silver and Sapphire Circlet, a Bonehawk Amulet and a Gold Emerald Ring. The main focus of this set is to make 0 cost destruction and restoration spells through the Fortify Destruction and Fortify Restoration enchantments. You basically just need 4 of these, each at 25% or above, and you've got 0 cost spells for those specific schools. Additionally though, I'd advise putting resistance effects such as Resist Magic or Resist Shock, and just some general utility stuff such as Fortify Carryweight or Fortify Lockpicking. Anything like that. Next up, the Support, consisting of Vermina Robes, Fine Boots, Mythic Dawn Gloves, a Copper and Onyx Circlet, Silver Necklace and a Silver Ring. Now the main focus for this is 0 cost Alteration and Illusion through Fortify Alteration and Fortify Illusion enchantments. Same things apply, you need 4 pieces, each with 25% or above reduced Fortify Alteration or Fortify Illusion cost to get your spells at 0 cost. Additionally, again you're going to go with resistance effects and general utility. Finally, the general clothing set. Tavern clothes, cultist boots, gloves, jade and emerald circlet, gold ruby necklace and gold diamond ring. Main focus, a 0 cost conjuration through Fortify Conjuration enchantments. Yay! Exactly the same thing again, just with the 5th school of magic. Additionally though, I recommend putting Fortify Alchemy on this for better potions, as well as Fortify Barter, Stamina and Carry Weight to make it kind of a business travel suit as well. All of these specific clothing choices can be tweaked of course, I simply went with the various items for how they look together. Any enchantable item of clothing can work as a replacement, so if there's something you prefer, then go with it. The only faction I'd really say you need to join is the College of Winterhold. They will prove to be valuable in regaining and augmenting your magical abilities. Additionally though, I was quite tempted by the Volkihar vampires, however I didn't end up joining them. If you want to though, then it's certainly a fitting faction. As per usual, I didn't use any standard followers with this build. If you do want followers, then you could always use the apprentices at the College of Winterhold to do your bidding. If you decide to become a vampire, then travelling with a Deathhound is pretty fun too. Although I didn't have conventional followers, I did travel with elemental thralls, which meant I always had a couple of followers by my side. This build is far from the easiest to play. It requires grinding skills, mastering multiple schools of magic, and knowing what's the best way to approach any situation. I'd class myself as a pretty skilled Skyrim player, and I can safely say that I have not mastered this build. It really is a tricky one to play at times, as you'll need to be switching up what you're doing all of the time, and I was just in the habit of sticking as a straight up destruction mage, and this got me killed a few times. If you're looking for a build to test you, then I really would recommend this one, but if you're looking for a more casual build, then maybe don't go all out when you play this. When playing, you need to switch between your clothing sets, depending on the situation. The general clothing will be used when you're nowhere near combat. Do all your business and crafting in the suit, and then before you start adventuring, summon your action arcs, free of charge. After that, I'd advise generally travelling around in your combat gear, but being ready to switch to the support set if needed. If an enemy jumps out at you, start spamming dual cast destruction spells to stagger lock them, and heal yourself up with restoration spells. If you get the drop on the enemy, then use your support clothing to cast 0 cost flesh spells and potentially influence the battlefield to your liking with illusion magic. After that, switch back to your combat gear so you can spam destruction spells to your heart's content. That's the most straightforward way I can talk about playing this build. There will be situations which may force you to mix this up a bit, but for the most part, this is how you will want combat to pan out for you. The Enchantress had no memories from her younger years. The man who had raised her had always just said that she would learn about where she had come from and who her parents were when she was older. Now that the old fool was dead, she supposed that wouldn't happen. Her ward had been a Dunmer mage. From him she had learnt about the world of the arcane. He taught her about the various places that people learn to control the magical enemies they had been born with. He didn't sugarcoat any of the stories for her either, telling her about all the times apprentices had murdered their masters once they became more powerful. If he had known her true nature, he wouldn't have been so quick to reveal these stories to her. It hadn't taken her long to realise she was far more powerful than her mentor. She could sense that this worried him, and with good reason. As soon as his back was turned, she had struck out at him with bolts of lightning. The battle was brief but chaotic, the result of which left the Dark Elf dead and alone. She didn't hang around in the house for long after that. There was a wide world out there that she had to experience now that no one was holding her back. The mysteries of Aetherius were hers to unravel. Her violent nature made her journey a difficult one. Not every problem could be solved with raw power. Despite being a powerful sorceress, she was not unstoppable. The Imperial army didn't take long to step in and attempt to take her prisoner. She fought against them furiously, sending fire and lightning flying all around her, but there were too many to stop. They were able to outnumber her and bind her hands to stop her from fighting back. She knew it would only slow her down though. She was too powerful to be stopped permanently. It was as she thought this that a strange-looking man approached her and pulled out a terrifying-looking blade. He pushed the tip of the blade into her face, letting it barely pierce her skin. As soon as it did, she felt herself become drained and collapsed to the floor. When she awoke, she felt weak and vulnerable. She was on a prison cart and couldn't feel the mystical energies that had always accompanied her. That man had done something terrible to her, and for that, he would pay. As the cart travelled onwards, she began planning her revenge, knowing that nothing on this realm could stop her. Thank you all for watching this latest Skyrim build. If you did enjoy it, make sure you've clicked the like button, and consider sharing the video too. I'm no longer making builds on a schedule, so if you want to make sure you're not missing one, you'll need to be subscribed to the channel. If you're really eager for builds, then never forget that I've got dozens already on the channel, and that there are plenty of other great build channels out there too. About half of my featured channels have Skyrim build playlists, so make sure to check them out. If I'm feeling particularly kind, I may even put links to various build channels in the description for you all. As always though, thanks for watching. Sarge out.